Hello everyone and welcome to another episode, the second episode of the low effort, lower budget NBP show. As always, I'm your host, Coaches Board President, Dalton, coming to you live, pre-recorded, from Rocket City, Alabama. So let's get right into it. I will make a correction from last week's show, and it seemed to have bit me on the behind for making such an error. I was wrong in Coach Shushnick's team. They are not Night of the Living Dead. They are Night of the Living Dread. And they brought dread upon the Badass Women's Association this week in a 2-0 drubbing of those Amazons. And that drubbing put them in first place in Tar and Feather Division. That's Coach Shushnick with the Night of the Living Dread and in the Tar and Feather Division. And all of these division leaders are what the game says. These are the in-game division leaders. So these are not official NBP rulings. These are just what the game says. You know, of course, you could go look at them yourself, but it's easier when I tell them to you in a YouTube video. So that's the first one, Tar and Feather Division. Second is Coach Bort in the Deep Dark Division behind a sinking ship. In their second season, they had a good showing last season. Just missed the wild card. If they did not make the wild card, it's a little cloudy last season, but I think they just missed it on the playoffs. But they're coming out strong with a lead in the week 1 going into week 2. Next up in the AFC, all three of these are AFC, by the way, is Coach Johnny Mao in Saltworks behind Johnny's Rottens. Johnny's returning to old form, so to speak, with a dominating team. I say dominating. It's been week 1 week, but he's got a win, and it's put him up in first place. But right on his coattails in second is the 2-time champion, Coach Midway, looking to dethrone him from that first place next week as they go head-to-head in week 2. That does it for the AFC. As for the NFC, we have Rocky is back, last season's runner-up in the finals in first place of the Ancient Empires, and that's still the Warpfire Stones. He's behind them on their second season, and they're looking to redeem themselves from their finals loss. I know how that goes. Season 1, I had one of those. So this is that comeback season. They're looking to make it back into the playoffs and possibly win this cup. Next up, we have a Blood Bowl legend, you could possibly say. He's won in almost every league he's been in, but MVP is one he has yet to claim that throne, and that's what he's looking to do. That's Coach Pong in the Beheaded Kings division. And he is behind the Lauren Rockets once again. That strong team that beat me last season, beat almost everybody they played last season, and gave it a good run, but just couldn't make it to the finals. But they're looking to change that this season, and they've got a good start this year. And finally, in the Old World Division, we have Wheelie 365 behind Boom Boom Shake the Room, a team that's made waves since week 1 of their first season in Season 4. They have played Smash Mouth Blood Bowl, and they're bringing that right back to this season by being at the top of their division. Again, this is only 1 week, so pretty much if you're going for overall league standings, assume that you're tied for first. If you won, you're somewhere in the middle. If you drew, and if you lost, you're tied for last place. Of course, official MVP standings goes by league points and total SPP, but in the game, and if you want to make yourself feel better, just go by that rubric. So, next up, one thing I'm going to bring is the Most Violent Award, an award that a lot of people liked in the previous match reports, but this one's going to be a little different. This one's kind of based on the coach who inflicted the most injuries, I should say. I went from game to game and went by the game stats, and it was a close race. It was 1 point. It was a difference of 1 point. But the top 3 of those, in third place, we have fantastic Dr. J with 15 total SPP, and that's the way I did it. I went by how many injuries you had. These coaches had the same amount of injuries inflicted, and then I broke it down by total SPP earned in that game. So once again, Dr. J, he gets third place for most violent with 15 points. Coming up in second, somebody I've already spoken about, Coach Pong with 20. He had 20 total SPP in his last game. But the one coach that I labeled the most violent, who had the most injuries and the most SPP earned in week 1, is Coach Midway Monster. He's a 2-time NBP champion, both season 1 and season 4. So he knows how to earn the SPP out there, and he did it with 21. 21 to 20 was the difference between first and second place for the first most violent award. Now this award may be awarded every game, maybe every week on this episode, or it may be different. This is going to be a variety of things. I'm going to try to keep it fresh, so to speak. So, after most violent, there's really not a whole lot of awards. I just have AFC Coach of the Week and NFC Coach of the Week. I don't do a league overall. I feel like we can just break it down by division, and then you can all decide from there. In the NFC, it's no doubt head of his division, second place for most violent coach, and NFC leader is Coach Pong Hines. He is the NBP NFC Coach of the Week. Now, we go over to the AFC division. It's a very, very close race. I could have given it to several conference leaders in the NFC, or the AFC, I should say, but it's going to come down to Coach Johnny Mao. And I say that because he's starting this season strong. He's trying to return to ways of old, and he showed that by being first place over the 2-time champion and his old rival, Midway Monster. Now, of course, it could be argued that Midway Monster deserves it, seeing as how he was the most violent, but he was not the division leader, and according to the game. So I have to give it to Johnny. But if you want to get real technical, in week 2, I will put that on the line and say whoever wins versus Johnny and Midway in week 2 can have week 1 and week 2 in the AFC, because that's just a strong matchup there. Of course, there are other people who can do it, who have a chance at taking it, but if that's a good game and not a blowout, it's going to be hard to give it to anybody else in the AFC. But this show's gone on long enough. It's going to take forever to process on YouTube, and I want to get this out to you tonight. I've rambled long enough. I will plug the forums. I've seen there's a small interest in people writing their match reports on the forums. We're working on getting you a sub-forum there, so all of those match write-ups and role plays and all of that can be in one group. And if you guys start getting your write-ups there, if you get them on there, I'll feature some of you on the show. If you put in that effort, I'll put in the effort, even though this is a low-effort show. I will put in the effort of, transcribing your match reports onto the show. Thank you all for watching episode 2. If you liked it, I'm going to shield now like the rest of YouTubers. Hit the little thumbs up there. It lets me know that these are worth my time. If you didn't like it, hit the thumbs down too. And then let me know what I need to work on, make this show better. Because I want to make a show that all of you coaches can enjoy and watch in small digestible bits. So as for that, that's all. Thanks for watching.